Good morning, people. Thanks for visiting this channel. In this video, we will mostly talk about the challenges that mixed-race people face right now. For some of us, being ourselves is a difficult goal to achieve in a world where everyone aspires to develop or improve their social status, either through education, change in economic or social position, and in some cases, own physical appearance. As a way of being accepted in a society where social, political, economic, and above all emotional pressure drives us to accept values that are against our personal conviction, racial identity, and in some cases, denying our own human nature. As is the case of many biracial or mulattoes, whose racial identity is denied, not recognized socially or legally, but also not accepted in the United States, but also in some European nations. And let's not talk about Latin America and the Caribbean. In a society where your social, economic, and political position is closely linked to the color of the skin of the individuals, you have great challenges if you are part of a minority group in which you occupy a low position based on your racial heritage. Your skin color and racial identity can be an engine of social acceptance in a multiracial society, but unfortunately, it is one of the limiting factors in personal growth in many nations dominated by racism, which greatly increases the chances that you will be judged not by your intelligence, but by your skin color. Defining who we are and what our role is a traumatic event, especially when you are part of the minority that does not even have the production mechanisms, much less the power to produce the political and social changes necessary to change your condition. As is the case of blacks and biracial in relation to whites, especially when we talk about the United States. Historically, black has always been considered as second-class people or inferior according to the beliefs of the ruling classes. Since the arrival of the African blacks brought by the European whites to the New World as slaves, who from generation to generation have been exploited, mistreated, and discriminated against, until the present moment, of course with some variations, but always giving the same result in living under the same lack of equity. In modern times, the mentality of associating blacks with slavery, stupidity, and poverty still persists in many people. But on the contrary, others associate white people with intelligence, wealth, and power. The biological union of black and white in many territories, historically they called mulatto. Others prefer to call it biracial, especially in the United States. In Brazil, each skin tone has a different name. And let's not talk about the Caribbean nations. What does it mean to be a mulatto in a world divided between black and white, when your skin color and physical constitution is the result of a mixture of both? What is the racial identity of the mulatto when the father and mother come from different worlds? What is the emotional situation of a mulatto at the moment of accepting his or her identity as an individual when he or she does not have a role model? This is where, in this channel, we are trying to answer these questions when we talk about mixed-race people and the racial identity problems that some have. How much contributes to the personality of a mulatto when he or she is forced to accept or deny only a part of themselves? These and many more answers are the things that we will deal with in this channel, including cultural, family, group identity, political, social, and religious elements that are part of or are associated with different racial groups, which are part of your genetic makeup as Negroid, African culture, Caucasoid, European culture, and indigenous culture. To deny biracial identity is to deny the history of the mulatto, quadroon, octoroon, and the role they played in the history of the United States. It is also denying the existence of the different racial mixtures between blacks, whites, and indigenous peoples, which are part of the genetic makeup of many African Americans. Our position is that children and people who are multiracial, biracial, both parents different racial groups, and multi-ethnic have the right to a full, multiracial, and multi-ethnic identity. Additionally, they are entitled to have that identity recognized, supported, and celebrated. Finally, we believe that any and all efforts to provide education and training, which should include the acceptance of multiracial and multi-ethnic identity as part of the curriculum. This is not a channel to discuss the issue based on our personal history and/or the social construction of race that is part of your beliefs, unless you contribute to the discussion. For us, there is no debate. Not only do people have the right to embrace their full racial and ethnic identity, but they also have the right to have that identity recognized and celebrated, especially in early childhood, adolescence, in schools, colleges, and universities, but also the right to receive personal counseling for those who have a racial identity problem by the imposition of a racial identity that does not belong to them. Furthermore, we believe that it is psychologically healthy for multiracial and multi-ethnic people, families, children, and individuals who fully embrace their identities as a way to affirm and celebrate all aspects of who they are and not feel ashamed to recognize who they really are. In this channel, we are trying to make that a reality, no matter what nation we are, especially when we talk about the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, if this job fulfilled your expectations, please subscribe to this channel, but also leave your comments as a way of knowing what you think about the content in this video.